think where the most anxiety first-time home buyers experience is the unknown, right?
Yes.
And what I have found in the 13 years is eliminating anxiety comes from giving them the answers up front and setting the right expectations.
Absolutely.
And if you can cover that, that's why I use the buyer consultation to cover the majority of that, because I'm answering the bulk of their questions up front and explaining the process so they know what to expect next. But, in that instance where, something goes off the rails, hey, it's okay. We've got a contingency plan. We'll get it worked out. And then keeping the agents informed too, because they get a little twitchy.
Welcome to the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout Agency. We're sitting down with real estate pros, insurance nerds, mortgage masterminds, and local legends who are making moves on the Space Coast. Hosted by the best insurance crew in the 321. At Studio 321, it's all about community, real connections, and sharing a few laughs along the way. Strap in, let's launch into today's episode.
Today we got some fam in the house. Woo! I'm excited to introduce Luis Perez with us, branch manager at Certified Mortgage Planners. Luis has been in the mortgage world for about 13 years and works with buyers all over Brevard, Indian River, and across Florida. He actually started working at the age of 15 in the auto salvage industry, spent many years there, and eventually found his way into the mortgage industry, bringing a practical, grounded approach to helping people through the biggest financial decisions of their life.
Woo woo.
Outside of work, he's big into gym, golf, and boating, and he's a proud dad who says his son is his biggest motivation. Luis, welcome to Studio 321. We're
What's
excited
up,
to have
man?
you.
How are you?
Glad to be here, man. This is great.
Awesome, dude. No, we appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
It's I know it takes some time out of your day to come in here, so we appreciate it.
Oh, man, I was super excited when Angela brought it up.
All right, cool. So for people that don't know you, man, tell them about like your role today and kind of how you got there.
Yeah. Start from the beginning.
How long is the show?
Yeah. Let's go.
Well, like Angela said, I've been doing it about 13 years. Ironically, I would say I was exposed to the mortgage business in 3 separate time periods, and I never really took it serious. And then all of a sudden, my third tour, I was kind of like, wow, I think this should be a serious thing. And then I really got behind it. I did it from 04 to 08. The market crashed. I didn't, went back to the auto salvage business, and then corporate structure just took over at that and just got fed up. So then I jumped back in, the mortgage industry. I started with getting my real estate license. And I was thinking that, having the mortgage background would really help get the traction in the real estate side. But what I learned real quickly is that my personality traits didn't lend to that side of the fence of the business.
Oh, really?
3 months into it, I said, look, I'm throwing in the towel. This isn't for me. There's too much emotional decision-making that goes along with that side of the fence for me, where I like the creative problem solving. I like finding ways to make the pieces of the puzzle work for individuals and families.
Very nice.
That, and, hanging my hat at a place where I know I can get deals done.
Yeah.
Where I've built a reputation of being able to get some of the harder deals that other lenders can't, because we don't have credit score overlays, or we don't cater to a higher end clientele. Like, we treat them all the same, the $200,000 purchases to the, 1.2 million or above, everybody gets the same attention. And, so flash forward, here I am. I got back into the business 2016 at a support level, and then got acquainted with all the recent changes from the meltdown, and then a year later got licensed again, and pretty much started originating.
Very cool.
So it's been a neat ride, ups and downs.
So when you
market's
said
crazy.
in 2008 you went back to the salvage and sales, right? And like, how does that incorporate your professionalism now? Like, did that help?
For me, I think it was just putting on an old hat, right? It was more call center environment type of stuff. It didn't necessarily translate to the mortgage business. What I had to learn and adapt to quickly is understanding that's a relationship business, right? He or she talks to most people wins. And at the end of the day, if you help people get what they want, you're ultimately going to receive it back reciprocated by closed business, future referral business, building relationships and fostering with the agents that you work with, gaining their trust, and long-term relationships that, end up being very fruitful.
Yeah, I love that.
No, absolutely.
I think that's one our biggest thing too is we're in a relationship business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast. It's all about relationships, man. I mean, that is what drives this industry, whether it's real estate, insurance, mortgages.
Yeah.
It's.
I still remember the first time I met you.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
When was that?
So, it was years ago because we had branched off. We had opened up a branch for Interlink Mortgage. You
Okay.
came in with
Oh,
Allison
okay.
Trimper
Okay.
and met with us, and that was the very first time
Was I with the other?
Yeah.
He was giving
whose
me his
name won't be
business.
mentioned.
I remember when you were transitioned to that. Okay.
Yeah, it was for about a year stint, and then CMP just kept a relationship with me.
Okay.
Again, speaking to that, and just felt genuine. So, I definitely say, even when I left for 2 years, this past time, what I grew to appreciate was the culture that we have in our
Yes.
and the
culture.
mentorship. And, we really do have a work family,
Mm-hmm.
which just drew me back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can work for the bigger box banks,
Sure.
just like being in a relationship, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's where you water it. And if you ultimately can hang your hat where you can get deals done, you're going to have success no matter what label you're repping.
I absolutely love that
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
You're home. Yeah.
So, as the branch manager, are you guys looking to grow your team, or?
Absolutely. Like, we're always trying to attract a talent. At the end of the day, it's about people that want to grow and have the tools. And I feel that from a value proposition, we truly have that to offer for the loan programs, the rates, the culture that we want to attract at Certified Mortgage Planners. I think it's got a lot of potential. So really, it's just about putting our name back in Brevard and letting it work itself out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where are you guys located right now?
So our corporate office is Lake Mary.
Okay.
We've entertained the idea of expanding, but what I've come to find out is we're okay with just being a local lender,
Okay.
being central to Florida in general,
Yeah.
and that being our stomping ground. We actually have a branch in Hawaii too.
Yeah.
And so the
Hawaii.
main focus is, hey, let's focus on the area that we rep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's niche down on that
Mm-hmm.
and just build a reputation that people can trust. And, the owners of the company initially had, acquired the designation of a certified mortgage planner because we wanted to be different
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to be able to give advice and have that, advice over price kind of business model and really be able to make it worth a client even driving an hour to come visit with us if they needed to.
Oh,
And I've
yeah.
had several clients drive from Daytona,
Wow.
Indian River County, just to meet us because they wanted to do the face-to-face.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And ultimately, put together a mortgage plan for them.
Yeah.
So
That
you
speaks
remote a
volumes.
lot?
Yeah, for the most part. Since COVID, it kind of changed the dynamic
Absolutely
of
changed the
things.
world. Yeah.
I was a little spoiled. We had an office that was off Century Boulevard for a while there, but we closed that one and just kept the one we have in Indian Harbor Beach.
Got you.
I never thought the mainland thing versus the beachside thing, driving over the bridge, one doesn't want to go to the other side was a thing
Yeah.
until I did it a few times. I'm like, I want to go over the bridge.
Oh yeah, you got those Cocoa Beach
Yeah.
people that are like, I don't want to go there.
And I was like, I'm a product of my own environment.
That's hilarious.
So I do focus on working from home a lot. I do go in the office on occasion, but unless there's a need to, I get way more done at the home office. than I
Wow,
do.
No,
I can't
absolutely.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I was bringing up the remote thing. I was just wondering, like, how that is for you. You know what I mean? Like, I know for us here, like, we really feed off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Being physically in the office
Mhm.
and as a team, like, we kind of motivate each other, and we're constantly talking about
Sure.
deals and what we're doing and all
Right.
that. And I found, like, because we were remote for a while during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but I found like there's just such
Was
a
the first agent to come back? I was like, this is not working out.
yeah, and there's just such a disconnect with your
Yeah, it
team.
is.
Yeah,
You
I
just
can
don't
see
have
that.
that same camaraderie. It's a little
Yeah.
harder to communicate, and in some ways, COVID made us a lot better because
Mm-hmm.
we have some technology that we didn't have during that time, and even inter-office communication is better with our
Sure.
chats and stuff that we were using during COVID, and we
Right.
still use that today. But I will say that for us, being in office has been
game changer.
Game changer.
Right.
Like it's just, we're just better
Right.
when we're in office,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. So, I've come full circle in that
Yeah.
aspect. I was definitely one of those like, no, I got to go into the office. I got to disconnect.
Yeah.
Helps me focus kind of situation. And then during COVID, I had a loan partner at a time that was out of New Jersey.
Wow.
And, from a loan partner perspective, I always thought, well, it's got to be in the office so we can download daily.
Mm-hmm.
We have a plan of attack. But what we ended up doing is just leveraging Zoom,
Sure.
and the communication was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So he really changed my vision on that it's okay that you can have that.
Mhm.
And with my client consultations, the majority of my schedule via Zoom. And that way I can leverage the technology. I can make the home buyer consultation the same every time. We use a SWEAT acronym, same way every time, so that it's duplicatable. Everybody gets the same treatment, either a first-time home buyer, upsizing, investor. We go over A to Z, do's and don'ts, how the market's trending, what impacts interest rates.
Super structured.
So
Yeah.
it's all the same, right?
Yeah.
And, that has been one of the attributions to my success since I adopted that, because it lets me share my screens and go through a whole presentation where even if it was in person, unless I had something like this that we were going through, it still doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see the
The only
benefit in that.
downfall might be if they're trying to watch it on their phone.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
you're trying to see a PowerPoint and you're looking at the phone, you're like, what does that say? Don't worry, I'm going to email it to you.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah. There's no doubt that COVID in some ways, made us all better with
Yeah.
technology and better use of it.
Mhm.
And even like I said, even though we're in office, we're still using a lot of that technology.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
know what I
And,
mean?
I've always kind of been a tech nerd. I've got electrical engineering, computer technology degree.
Yeah.
The entry level jobs at the time when I graduated just really didn't support my income demand, so I never really got into it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely always been a passion of mine. So I've always
Yeah, I
enjoyed
can see
that.
where Jeremiah gets it.
He's just as bad as
But
I am.
yeah, he goes and he borrows my car, and I was telling him like my car is upside down with all. I'm like, I didn't even know my car did that, and so he like messes with my car when he borrows it. But now he has his own.
So man, you say, look, you brought up your son. What how has he changed your life, man? Like could you said he's your biggest motivation? Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. I've had friends that were expecting, and from day one, I tell them, look, having a son, there's no better job than being a parent or being a dad. And, the motivation that comes with that to foster that relationship long-term, give him guidance. All his little milestones have been super rewarding for me. And, in my situation, I've just been truly blessed with a co-parenting relationship that translated to the outcome that he's the young adult that he's evolved and matured to today. Good grades, didn't nearly do half the stuff I did growing up.
God, no, he's everywhere.
But his drive, his ambition, his determination to achieve his goals amazes me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, now that his next step is going to college, just to witness his acceptance letters, his applications, applying for scholarships, and, getting all those opportunities afforded to him has just been a blessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty emotional. Being an aunt, like it's just like these kids are just, the biggest blessing that we could ask for. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like we couldn't. Jeremiah's involved in absolutely everything. A kid that knows how to network. He knows how to get out there and truly, be his authentic self, and people
With
just
no fear.
gravitate towards him.
No fear.
Yeah,
I'm more of an introvert than anything else.
I know, and you said that.
Yeah.
I can't
like on a
picture
disc
that.
profile, I'm definitely like a high C,
Wow.
mid to low D,
Yeah.
and higher I. So inherently, I am definitely a lot more introvert. So it takes work for me to get geared up, to get in that mental state, to do the networking things. That so much so that I'm like, hey, if you see me there, like just come up and say hi, shake my hand, introduce. So I do love socializing. It's warming up to that, getting in that headspace.
Yeah.
That's always been a challenge for me.
No, I think we talked about that actually last time we were hanging out at the Real
that's right.
Producers.
Yeah.
And I'm way more of an introvert, man. Like I gotta kind of get myself geared up for it.
Psyched
People
up.
don't really know that because
What?
Yeah.
I am. Once I get comfortable, I'm a people person for
100%,
sure.
yeah.
But I definitely have to.
Have a drink.
You almost gotta loosen up a little bit. You gotta get mentally right for it. Like, and sometimes, man, like I'll walk into a big networking event
Mhm.
where it's just you walk into it, all of a sudden the room's loud and like it
Shut
just
down.
overwhelms me
Yeah.
immediately.
Mhm.
Where
Oh,
like
yeah.
you know what I
Sensory
mean?
overload.
Yeah, dude.
Oof.
And so
Yeah, I can agree.
I definitely struggle even with this podcast, man. Like, like
Had to take you getting out of your comfort zone.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
really had to. I'm getting comfortable now,
Right.
but I had to force myself. Those first couple episodes, man, I was nervous. You know what I mean? Like, but as we've started doing this, you just get more and more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Like I used to be in the BNI groups and I used to do all that stuff. And I remember like the first time I stood up in BNI,
Yeah,
it was like you could feel your pulse in your neck, dude. I was so freaking nervous, but that like more than anything in my career, BNI probably helped me the most
I
from
can
a
agree
public
with that
speaking
100%.
perspective and getting comfortable in front of people and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
one of
so-
your biggest stories too. Like, I mean, mine.
Yeah,
talking in front of people.
Talking in front of people, getting, doing a elevator pitch
Mhm.
to express what your value proposition is
Yeah.
in a short setting. My very first 10-minute, I literally had to do like 3 or 4 shots of Captain
You said
Morgan
that.
before that meeting just to get it, just to lower the bar
Yeah.
and get comfortable. But I think what BNI does bring to the table is there's, if anybody's ever had a professional coach, what they don't realize is a lot of the content that's in there is included with your membership and the continuing education pieces. And if you mirror that and you've gone through some coaching, you'll see some similarities in the things that they tell you about from prospecting and building relationships and getting belly to belly, or the one-to-ones that they call it.
Yeah.
That's where you get to go deeper.
Oh yeah.
And, it applies to just about every business.
No, absolutely.
I
And the
definitely,
giver's gain mantra,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
The more, and that's kind of like the other reason we want to do this podcast is like giving back to our referral partners, figuring out a way to promote them,
Yeah.
but also creating the relationships, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
BNI did taught me a lot,
Yeah.
for sure.
I know. I was always in this game. It was just like, how much can I give? How much can I give? And that's and I never ever went in there thinking like, what was I going to get?
Right.
And that was
Yeah.
the mindset that gave me.
Yeah.
So,
And I think when you have that mindset
Mhm.
with anything, like you were saying, in any business,
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah. And if you're
You
in
know?
sales, if you come from a place of servitude, it's going to come back to you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If you serve your clients, you serve the referral partners, you want to make it a referable experience so it generates future business for them and yourself as well if it's reciprocated. And at the end of the day, that just understanding those fundamentals can lead to success.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the little bit of the prep that we did for the show, you had talked about, not wanting buyers to miss out on on something if they're 5-10K off,
Oh, that's right.
let's
Yeah,
figure it out. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out. Can you walk us through that a little bit in the mindset there?
Yeah. Sometimes people get so focused on the price point, right?
Mhm.
And having a specific budget.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, there are levers that we can pull structuring a deal, whether it's reducing homeowners insurance, right? That's one of the levers that we say, let us shop that for you and see if we can get that down. And the difference in monthly payment, may only translate to $20 to $50 difference, just going up that $5,000 or $6,000. So it's not worth missing out on that. Considering in today's environment, you can spend $50 at Chick-fil-A on 2 meals for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
got
yeah,
drink
yeah.
fries
Jeez.
and get a milkshake.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
$50.
If you had
Yeah.
a milkshake, yeah, for sure.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah. You got a big family there.
Oh, boys
Steve.
are killing me.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it too much to ask to forego, maybe one night of fast food to make sure that you're comfortable with your
Yes.
budget to afford the home? So that's why I say, let's figure it out. Let's have a conversation and, don't miss out on something that is the dream home or the one that checks all the boxes for, $5 or $6 grand.
Yeah.
So when it does come down to, an individual that they're right there. They're like, it's the numbers are just not working at that moment. But do you analyze like their whole entire financial structure, to get them to the finish line?
Absolutely. If there's some areas to manipulate and get creative, we're evaluating the credit. Is there something that we could eliminate, pay off? Is there a debt that's an installment debt, 10 payments or less that we can omit? Is the insurance something? Are we looking at a specific property that maybe they can capture an extra 5 or 10,000 because the taxes that were associated with the previous owner's tax bill was low enough?
Oh, okay.
Where maybe that, now they have a 10,000 additional buying power that otherwise they wouldn't have had if we just went off our estimation. So there's a lot of variables that we can get into,
there's a
and
lot.
really just had, I call it doing loan surgery, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I feel like I can be a mortgage broker after all these conversations,
Well, we get involved a lot with the DTI issues,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
yeah.
because insurance obviously plays a role into that. And so sometimes, we have to work with the buyer to go, hey, this is what this is what needs to be done to get you in your budget. And then,
Yeah.
After
We
the
can
fact,
talk
after the
other-
closing, we can talk about it. And,
Sure.
and
I had one client just recently, she had selected the Cadillac policy that, of all policies for an insurance premium. And I said to her, I said, well, look, we're in the beginning stages of this. We're going to get you some quotes. Let me know what, you land. And then, but just know as a first time home buyer, based on where we're at on this situation and your debt to income, we may have to select a different insurance premium that fits your budget for the approval. And then after you close, if you want to make some changes, then you might be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's how it played out.
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
honestly just think it's an educational moment for, especially I love first time home buyers because I can educate them and, just give them a more of a comprehensive experience in the insurance world because no one likes insurance. We're the bad guys. But, I like to be a good guy once in a while, I mean, hello, like I'm here to help you. I'm
Right.
here for you to like make your dreams come true.
Yeah. And it boils down to the educational piece.
Yeah.
I think where the most anxiety first time home buyers experience is the unknown, right?
Mhm.
And-
Yes.
And what I have found in 13 years is eliminating anxiety comes from giving them the answers up front
Yeah.
and setting
Be
the right
transparent.
expectations.
Absolutely.
And if you can cover that, that's why I use the buyer consultation to cover the majority of that, because I'm answering the bulk of their questions up front and explaining the process so they know what to expect
Yeah.
next. But, in that instance where, something goes off the rails, hey, it's okay. We've got a contingency plan. We'll get it worked out. And then keeping the agents informed too, because they get a little twitchy, wanting to know where they're at in the process. So being proactive with communication and being able to articulate the nuances of the loan, I think is what
Yeah, I
makes a
think
difference.
those videos are like you created, just created for Brightway for us. The after transaction.
Oh, like the welcome videos.
Yeah, and I
stuff,
think that's. I mean, giving them what to expect next is
Yeah, so every client that gets a policy with us, immediately, like the next day, they get a welcome email from the producer that sold them the policy.
Nice.
And in that email is a welcome video. And we also ask for a review in that email as well. But the video kind of just walks them through, like Angela said, what's the next steps?
Yeah, what's the next step?
And welcome to the agency. Thanks for choosing us. All that stuff.
Sure.
In our
and,
model.
And
like,
our model, how we operate, how we work. And that we can help them with other stuff, 'cause-
Sure.
So like for us, we lead with home.
Mhm.
That's our number one product. And we have all the options. I argue till I'm blue in the face. Like nobody can beat us on home,
Right.
period.
Right.
Like we have the options.
Right.
We have the carriers. We have the competitive advantage in that space, period. So we get them in the door with the home, and then we want to cross-sell the auto and the flood, and we want to round out the account, all their personal lines, boat, motorcycle, anything they got. And so in that video too, we talk about, hey, we're not just your home insurance agent. We want to be that for everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's helped us grow as well.
Angela's always been my go-to.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. And it's pretty cool to see the growth and just coming from one to another, just like, oh my gosh, it's a whole different world. Like you have the whole world in your hands when you come to an actual brokerage, and I can help a lot more and fast. Like speed
quickly.
is very important to you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need those numbers as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, speed. We were just talking about this yesterday.
Oh God, here we go. We're gonna get lectured again.
I mean, it is in my opinion, it's the number one thing, and it's probably the same for you. In our industries, speed is probably the number one service we can provide.
Right.
Nobody wants to wait a day, 2 days, 3 days for a quote.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to wait 2 days to hear back from Lewis whether he can do the deal or not, right? Like
Right.
they want to be able to make that phone call, get Lewis on the phone.
Get out there shopping.
Yeah, get out there and start buying a house, right? And so speed and that ability to be available when needed for our referral partners
It's huge.
is huge, man.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my lecture yesterday in our meeting was like, I said, we're not successful because we have every carrier, which we do. We're not successful because we got really good rates, which we do, right?
Right.
We're successful because speed.
Service.
Speed
Yeah.
is our
Yeah.
number one competitive advantage.
But
Yeah.
there is
You know?
times that there is a situation where we can't give that speed. But I think I think it really comes down to the communication aspect of it. And to me, if I can't give it to you because my expectation is I'm going to give this to you within the same day you ask for it. That's me.
Mhm.
And I really try. And, like I communicated with, your processor, Julie, and I was just like, hey, I got 2 open claims. And I was like, this is going to take me a little bit more time. She's like, oh, okay, no problem. But her giving me like, why don't you call the customer and you guys talk amongst each other? And that's kind of what we need to push. Be like, is that okay? Because sometimes we just get, a dry, transfer where it's just like a cold transfer where it's just like, hey, just quote this for us, and
yeah, well, you've always had permission to talk to my referrals.
yeah, you did. But it was just, it's nice to be like, you know what? She told me the whole spiel of this whole house and what's going on. I'm like, oh, perfect. That's helpful. And, when you know the background of everything that's going on and it helps us, that's just like, okay, you just did the legwork for me. Now I just need to make the call.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And well, and the great thing about with the 2 claims is like, hey, we're finding that out early, not last second, right? So
Sure.
that's
like,
my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I want to
It's
know
like,
what's
hey,
on this house now, because what's going to happen, even though we're last resort in a process, I don't want me to hold it up.
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? And that's my biggest thing. So I try to be I try to run everything up front and, see what, we can figure out.
We try to help in that department too, because I've always kind of coined it as like a concierge service that we give to our clients by procuring 3 quotes from them in the first place. Always put your name first.
Yeah, it's okay.
And at the end of the day, it gives them an opportunity. Like, hey, we're going to try to do this legwork for you. When you get your 4-point, your win mitt, I need you to send it to me right away.
Yeah.
And that way it gives you guys the information that you need to quote the policies.
Yes.
And we're doing that right in week 1, maybe bleeding into week 2, so we can get ahead of it right away.
I love it.
You know,
and I love that your team, like, and even you ask me, like, what do I need to put together for my team to send to you for the request? And, you give me a little updates, hey, I'm just starting a new, whatever. They have absolutely everything about this person that I can find. And even though, like, some like realtors and, inspectors, they're not going to have that information, but lenders, they have that info.
sure.
For us as agents, like, the dates of birth, the prior address, like all that plays a huge role in an insurance policy. And when your team just absolutely nails it right on the head.
Yeah.
And I love it. Yeah, it's great. I'm like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. Yeah.
So, same with us. We work with a lot of realtors, and I'm sure that's your bread and butter too.
Sure,
is
absolutely.
With realtors, and so what do you think is the most important thing for that relationship between you and the realtor?
What do you bring as value, and how do you perform as a lender that you're not just a commodity, right? Anybody can quote an interest rate. Anybody can say we close on time, but what's the real value that you're bringing to that relationship and that partnership? And CMP has always had one of those core values that we want to help our partners succeed in any which way that they choose. And it's open-ended like that, because depending on whether they're a new agent or seasoned, what's going to apply to their opportunity for success is going to be different at different times. So, having an opportunity to define what is success for that particular agent, what are their goals, what is your biggest challenge, so that you can identify that and say, okay, well, we've got some tools that we can leverage here. Here's some strategies from other top producers that we've encountered that were successful for them. And a lot of the things that are successful in our business is the same for their business too, whether it's working your database, how to build your database, doing lead generation. And,
wow, you help them with that stuff.
Well, to a degree, like, if they need to role play, if they need to ideas, scripting, whatever, like, I've got a whole library of things that I've just accrued over the 13 years that, hey, I'm happy to share. Like, if you need social media templates, like, I've got a whole library of that too, that I can, hey, here's some things that you could load into Canva, and you just got to make it your own, and then, whether it's from leveraging additional technology, hey, if you got a book of old leads, like, hey, let me help you reactivate those.
You literally water your realtors.
try.
That is awesome.
You know, and you can lead them to water, but you
Yeah.
always can't make them drink, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the ones that will engage,
Yeah.
my goal is how can I help them break income records by using me as a strategic partner?
Yeah, I
Love
it.
that.
I love it. Love it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, it services more clients for them, translates to more referral business.
Yeah.
And I would say probably what got me through the toughest 2 years that I've had to experience, other than the fallout of '04 to '08, which is just an anomaly, is really the referral and repeat business that I've gotten and received from past clients. You know, hey, we need to leverage some of our equity. We need to, hey, we're buying another house. We're going to sell this. We're going to get another one. Hey, I need to consolidate some debt. You know, what does that snapshot look for me? And one of the things that sets us apart as a lender is, you know, we offer private money. And private money isn't a secret, like it's out there, but most private money lenders will only do that on investment properties.
Okay.
So because we've got it dialed in and that's our business, we will do it on primary residences as long as it meets a certain criteria. And we had one gentleman that I was able to help. He was in a fantastic equity position. It was unfortunate how he acquired the house because it was due to a car accident and they bought it cash. Found himself in a pinch, needed to leverage some equity to do some renovations and add some stuff and pay off some debt. I tied him into my credit repair specialist, and she did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, Natalie did a great job with Credit Pulse. Shout out to Natalie.
Natalie, what? What's her last name?
Camilo.
Okay.
Torek Camilo.
There you go.
If you look her up on Facebook.
No, she's awesome. She's a doll.
But, and so she was working that profile. The goal was, hey, we're going to do private money to satisfy your short, immediate goal. This is going to be a Band-Aid. We're going to get your credit in the right position so that you can get out of the private money loan. And he just came back with, I think, mid-6s after she did all the work. And it started in the low 5s.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so it took about 5 months. Like he had to go through several rounds because there was a lot of derogatory things that she had to get removed. Just a blip on the radar. You know how life kicks you in the kicks you in the tail sometimes, and you got to bounce back from it. So there were some medical reasons and things and that attributed to that, but he followed the plan.
Yes.
And now we're able to refinance him out. And the crazy part was it was referred to me by another lender. And the goal was always, hey, when they can refinance, I'm turning them right back to you.
Oh.
I won't take that from you. And then we ended up, having a discussion where we're going to do a 1099 split on it going forward. So,
wow. So you get referrals from other lenders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because nobody can, I think integrity and your word is your bond. And at the end of the day, if you don't have that, I'm old school like my dad. Yeah. You don't have anything, right? Yeah. So, if a deal presented itself in that capacity and I could help someone still get to where they need to be, I'm still going to turn it back to that loan officer. I'm not going to do anything shady or grimy like that. So, it's always out there if somebody needs to leverage that.
No, I think it's pretty cool. I had a Chicago agent reach out to me, and she just had lunch with them.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah,
Mary.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Her and Joe are awesome.
Yeah. So she reached out to me and she's like, we don't have our progressive license in Florida yet, but I really have this customer. Can you help out? And, and then when I get it, she's like, I'll just rewrite it, and I was like, yeah, whatever you want to do, anything I can do to help. So, it just
goes a long way.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a lot of top producers in this county, and there's enough to go around for everybody.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
I never will ever throw shade on somebody else that's a competitor. On the contrary, I'll probably lift them up.
No.
But what I will do is take the opportunity to still win that business. And at the end of the day, hey, if I acquire it, capture it, great. If not, hey, you still have
what do
a
they
great,
say, man?
great
Rising
choice.
tides, bring up all ships, right?
Yeah,
so
raise all boats.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I probably got that. I probably murdered that saying, but but you understand what I was trying to say there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same with us, like she was telling, helping out our friends from Chicago that are starting to write some business in Florida. And we have, the one thing I do love about Brightway is we have that kind of environment where all the agents are really trying to help each other.
Yeah.
Like I've learned so much from other agents in this company.
Nice.
And it's that same kind of like givers gain kind of mentality. We're really just looking out for each other, trying to help each other win.
Yeah.
And the more we win, the more everybody wins, right?
It speaks to culture, right?
Yeah.
We do something similar to that where, we have a weekly sales huddle.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about challenges and wins and things that everybody can learn or they can apply. And, at the end of the day, we all win together.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. You know what I mean? I've learned so much from the other people that are in this business.
Yeah.
I know when Steve's like, I have a plan. I have another, and we're like, oh God, he's adding to our plate. But it's all about strategy. It's all about, helping us. And that's another thing when you have a leader and a mentor that is just, so driven on trying to help, their staff, like trying to accomplish their goals,
Right.
not his, but theirs. Like, what do you want this year? Like, I can get you there. Let's do this, and
Sure.
giving you, the tools
The
and
mentorship.
the investment. I feel that, people need these days to succeed it goes a long ways for
like
sure.
if you're here and you're driven and you want it,
Yeah.
I'm going to help you all,
Mhm.
We're going to push you as hard as we can to get you there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing we can't teach is you gotta want it.
I don't want it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really gotta want
If
it.
you got drive
Correct.
and you want it and you want to put in the work, you can get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't train that.
Mm-mm.
Let's pivot a little bit, man. So I've been asking all the mortgage people that we have in here lately because it's been kind of news over the last couple months. What do you think about 50-year mortgages? And well, just for reference, what's today? January 7th or 8th?
7th.
Yeah, January 7th. So just, because this might come out later in the month or February and the news might be different then or something.
Right,
so
right.
I always like to give context.
I don't know. I think there's always two sides of the coin. Do I think that someone is going to acquire a 50-year mortgage and see it to its life end? No. Will it create some affordability otherwise? And that's who it would serve, who otherwise could not get into a home. There are going to be that demographic that fit into that bucket, and they would rather have a home than continue to rent. But I think as long as it's teed up properly, hey, this isn't, at any which point in time you can shorten this term. Let's talk about what that landscape looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys literally all have the same answers.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But different wording, but
yeah, same thing. I
majority,
think I
same
said
thing.
on the last episode we asked was, I look at it as, look, if you can get that person into the home and it's going to help them right now,
Yeah,
Exactly.
right
you know,
now.
acquire that home, why
Yeah.
not?
We
You know,
can't.
it's
It's kind of like down payment assistance.
Correct.
Mhm.
Back in the day
you're not
we had
stuck forever in that.
right.
Yeah.
We had some that were fully forgivable back in the day. Now they're far and few in between.
Yeah.
I did just help a lady with one that if she made 6 payments, then the 3% grant that she received is forgiven.
Ooh.
So there are still some out there.
Mm.
But, when we talk about that it's translating to the 50-year mortgage, if you're using the Florida bond or a Hometown Heroes program, it's not fully forgivable. You still have to pay it back. If you refinance or sell your home, it still gets paid back. So it's not free money, but the intent is it puts somebody in a home that otherwise it creates an opportunity that they otherwise may not have been afforded to by not using it, right?
Yeah.
And, offer strategies, seller concessions, things like that can help bridge that gap that, I felt like if you were going to win in real estate, the fourth quarter was probably the best opportunity because with any homes that survived over the summer are ready and primed to go get those concessions. There's some news coming down the pipeline right now with the last Fed chair meeting that the government is going to start investing in mortgage-backed securities. So if you think about when the last time they did that, it was during COVID.
Mm.
And that's when we experienced 2-3%. Now, do I
Boom.
think that we're going to get back to that? Probably not. I think it's going to level out probably in the 5s, but it's a good signal to where the government's trying to hedge inflation or, inflation, which, is the biggest eroder for bond yields. But by doing so, that's going to give us an opportunity to create some more affordability. It's going to bring more buyers in.
Let's go.
And I think long term, over the next few years, our biggest challenge is then going to be inventory, which is
Yeah.
going to cause us to then have to get creative. We'll probably use more renovation loans. How do we, I don't want to say turn a turd into a rose.
No, but I get
Turn
it.
a what? Turn a turd into
But,
a
hey,
rose.
the bones are good.
Yeah.
If you like the house, here's what a renovation loan looks like for you. It's another creative problem solving solution. And, if agents get acquainted with that,
Mhm.
it's going to help create opportunities for them. And really, it's just a training aspect. Like the renovation loan isn't anything that's new. It's just most people don't understand it.
Mhm.
They don't know how to pitch it. Heck, most you don't like the kitchen. Hey, well, let's think about this, and maybe we can get it done, and you can move into the house, and the kitchen will get done while you live in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. So,
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, absolutely.
Interesting.
You were talking about the grants and stuff. So how do those work? So you were saying like they're not free money.
right.
So what do they sit as like a second mortgage,
Yeah, it's
basically?
basically a silent second. So it's got a
And-
0%
And
interest
no
rate.
payment?
No payments on it.
Okay.
There are some, depending on which lender you go with and which grant that you're obtaining. So the Florida bond, it's through the Florida Housing. They
Mhm.
also do the Hometown Heroes, and then you've got some that are lender specific that they offer their own, which are additional grants for either 3.5% down or 3% on the conventional side. And last month we had to leverage one specifically because it just didn't fit the bucket for the Florida bond.
Mhm.
But we were able to pivot, find one that was conventional, and it was fully forgiven after 6 payments.
Jeez.
We had
Wow.
to go from an FHA loan to a conventional loan because on the listing, the agent that was involved didn't realize that there was a 90-day flip rule,
Mm.
and they had FHA financing to be accepted on the listing.
Got it.
So we had to course correct, pivot, adapt, overcome, and we're still able to get it closed.
Wow.
cool, very
That's
cool.
impressive.
So those programs are, even with them being not forgivable, those are awesome programs. You're not making any payments on it, right? And then are some of them, if they do sit as a primary for so long, are they ever forgivable, or some of them are never? So when you go to sell a refi, you're having to pay it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of them, but unless you're the one specific to the one I just mentioned to you.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Mm. Pretty cool.
Cool, man. Yeah, when I was in the business, I was in the mortgage business, prior to insurance.
No, I didn't know that.
17, 18 years ago. And when I was in it, we didn't have all those fancy programs because they were giving loans away.
Yeah.
If
If you could fog up a mirror and had good credit,
yeah,
you could get a loan.
exactly. What do you do outside of work, man? How do you decompress? Because I know some days can be stressful in this business. So.
Yeah.
How do you manage the two?
I compartmentalize a lot. I used to go by the motto, don't let them see you sweat kind of thing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I've always been able to compartmentalize stress or de-escalate a highly stressful situation with buyers or agents and talk people off the ledge. I think it just comes with empathy and tone and,
Sure,
and
yeah.
Understand that they're mad about the situation, not specifically at you.
Yeah. Don't take
you
it
know,
personal.
And
For sure.
at the end of the day, if something goes awry, I typically have a contingency plan and I've already thought it forward.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to be reminded of it.
Mhm.
Like, remember I said, hey, if this happens, we're probably going to have to go this route.
Yeah.
kind
There's
of
a lot
thing.
of reminding.
But overall, I like going to the gym. I like playing golf. And I think my zen is being out on the water on the boat. Like, to me, I remember when I was on my brother-in-law's boat and I was sitting in the back of it while he was driving down to Sebastian. And I had my hands behind my head and the wind was hitting my face. And the only thing I could equate it to is like when I used to have a motorcycle and driving without a helmet and that wind just hitting you, and it's like just so peaceful,
Mhm.
nothing else exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're just on the road and it was just always a great feeling. And at that moment was the only similarity I had encountered that I was like, well, if I bought another motorcycle, I'm
No.
probably going to be the only one that enjoys it. And after already having a near-death experience on one, do I want to repeat that?
No. That was.
So the boat was
yeah.
the next best thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Tarek here and there is like, I'm on a bike and we're like, well, you got life insurance now, so you can. Whatever. No, hell no. We'll leave the bikes out of the family.
Well, hey, man, it's about time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on before we get into the lightning round here?
Specifically? No,
Anything
pretty
you
much
guys
an
got
open
going
book.
on mortgage-wise or anything? Or
Yeah. Anything new coming?
besides
Really look
the...
forward to?
I think the mortgage-backed securities is probably the biggest news, I think, coming down
Yeah.
the pipeline.
Good.
It was definitely a rough 2 years. There's a lot of mortgage professionals that stepped out of the business, a lot of real estate
Wow.
professionals that stepped out of the business. But I think one of my own personal accomplishments is I feel like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Right?
For
At the end of the
sure.
day, I'm still in the game. And, I had a friend of mine, she works for another real estate company. She said, Lou, you just got to outlast the temporary.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Outlast the temporary.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
great.
remember when we had our all of our carriers left us? We only had 4 to
gosh.
write with.
Yeah.
I
That
thought we
must
were.
have been a tough time.
I got PTSD, man.
God, it was awful, but it was just like when you overcome those, big
Yeah.
hurdles, you're just like, wow, I can do anything.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
now it's like I've said it before. We survived that. We're gonna survive
we
anything
got-
coming.
we
Yeah.
got
Tough
it.
times
Yeah.
don't last. Tough
Yeah.
people do.
Exactly. That's great. I love that. We're gonna clip that.
All right, we're just gonna ask some lightning round questions just to wrap things up. All right, so morning workouts or evening workouts?
I do both. Like
Do
sometimes
you-
in the same day.
You do 2-a-days?
Sometimes.
I thought that was just
But I
your
would just do the-
bodybuilding days.
I can't get the wife to wake up with me in the morning and go do cardio. So if I do cardio in the morning, then I do my gym session with her at night.
Gotcha. That's pretty impressive, though. Golf course or boat day?
Boat day all
Boat
day
day,
long.
yeah. What habit that's helped you the most in business?
Being disciplined.
Okay.
And I think it translates to bodybuilding, playing sports, creating a discipline that, you've got your goals and you want to achieve it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Best advice you've ever been given?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
One thing you wish every buyer understood before starting the process?
We need your documents.
Yes, what I need is. I know that's the hardest thing is like when you ask them what you actually need, you're very transparent of like any trans sales action, whatever. It's really hard when you don't get all of that back. So it's like you're kind of reading between the lines or like
That's
going
the
back
biggest
and
delay in the whole
forth.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a delay. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
this has been fun.
Oh, this is
Awesome.
great.
I'm so glad you're able to come on and be our guest. Many more.
Can't wait.
Hey, man.
We're just getting started. You're first one for the year.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
we
you, bro.
appreciate you, man. Thanks so
Appreciate you
much for
guys.
coming
Yeah.
in, dude.
Appreciate all you guys do.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Let's get out of
All
here.
right.
See ya.
Peace.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout Agency. We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, 3, 2, 1, we're out.